All right, y'all, good morning. It's Friday morning. It's 8:30. They're about to wrap up the first one. I got Anthony and Zach out here today. We got about probably around $600 worth of work to do. Well, no, probably more than that. Probably like 670, something like that. So that's the first 100 right there. I'm going over here to the dealer to pick up the other EXMARK mower and pay them like $400 and blah blah dollars. It seems kind of expensive to me. I had a guy come in the comments was talking about that seems kind of expensive. It does to me too, but I mean, what do you do, man? Ain't nothing you can really do about it. So, you know, had to take a lump and just keep rolling. So, yeah. So by now, you guys have seen the video yesterday where I was really kind of pretty upset with myself the last couple of days, just not being, you know, efficient. So, and that just shows you that when you do the same kind of work, you know, that you should, you know, get more efficient each time you do things, as long as you're doing them, you know, in a way where it's not like, well, as long as you're doing them consistent. See, we don't do a lot of mulch, okay? I don't like doing mulch. There's not that much money in it. A lot of people down here in the South, not everybody, but a lot of my customers, they don't really care nothing about mulch. They'll do pine straw, and I don't do pine straw at all. So, and mulch is right there after pine straw. I got like 2 or 3 customers that will do mulch for, but it never exceeds more than, well, 10 yards. You know, never. I don't have any 25 or 30 yard mulch jobs. People just don't down here, and the properties that I do, they just don't pay for that, you know. It's not hardly worthy of, if I had a 30 yard mulch job, I'd have the Bobcat out there on it. We'd get it done. We'd get it done quick without all that labor. See, everybody does things different, you know. Nothing wrong with how anybody does things, but see, I've steered my business toward machines doing everything and minimal manpower, labor, because labor is proven over the years to me, and it might just be me, to be unreliable. Okay, so I don't want to set myself up for failure going toward the more laborious jobs, even if they do pay good. If you have regular good guy, good help, and good guys that'll come to work, and good guys that don't mind, you know, busting their ass all day physically, you can make a lot of money with mulch, even here where I'm at. But I don't have that. And that's just, you know, that's just the way it is. And I'm not going to be, you know, I'm getting too old to be chasing that labor stuff. If I was, you know, 35 or so, then I would be more inclined to do a lot more labor jobs like mulch, because, well, my finances when I was 35 wasn't where they are now. And that's what I'm always trying to appeal to you young guys that are out there, you know, that are thinking about getting in this game or starting to get in this game, that, you know, I did a lot more mulch and sod and stuff when I was younger than I do now. And that is on purpose. That I intentionally did that. I mean, I had to, man, because that was just the only way that I saw where I wouldn't have to be totally dependent on labor. If you got 25 yards of mulch to do, and then you don't have no help, or they call out, or whatever, then you got a big problem. What I have done instead of doing the mulch stuff is I've just generated more lawn care customers to do the lawn, even if they're $50 and $60 lawns. I just got a bunch of them, right? Now, that's the way I've run the business. And that's the only way that I know how, and at this point, right, at 52 years old, that's the only way I want to run it. I don't want to do mulch. I didn't have to do that mulch job, even though it paid pretty good. I didn't have to do that. I got bobcat work that I could go do with the brush cutter. I got jobs that don't require all that, but I know Zach and Katie, they usually do the mulch jobs for me. And but that job that was just at, well, I held us up, number one. I'm gonna look in the mirror, right? I held us up, and then they held us up too, because they're not used to doing the bushes and doing the mulch all in one whop. And when you're doing it like that, you have to be aware of how you're doing things to make top dollar. See, to make top dollar. Now, some of the jobs that we've done that they do for me, that I just kind of sub out to them, if you will, they're easier than that job because there's no bushes to trim. See, when you got two people and you got 10 yards of mulch and you got to trim the bushes, well, you got to kind of go in an orderly fashion. And that was my biggest complaint over there with the workflow and how things are going. They were working really hard, right? But it's so hot that none of us, me included, was working very smart. We weren't. I was the biggest bottleneck on the whole job myself. So I'm not saying anything bad about the guys, Katie or Zach, because they busted their ass over there, but it comes to a point over there where the business is not going to be making any money if we had to continue on that way. So, and then I compounded everything by not having enough mulch there twice. It's just, it's back ass country shit, man, that I'm doing over here, man. And I'm a seasoned vet. So much a seasoned vet that I know not to mess with the mulch because I know I don't do enough of it to make top dollar. It's hard for me to see like the end number, the time it takes. And then when you have guys that are out there working that haven't really done a lot of bush trimming and mulch at the same time, then you run into some costly mistakes. I cost us, but they cost us as well. It didn't cost, it didn't cost us any money. It just cost us time, which equates to money at some point. So, and then on top of that, the owner ain't paid me yet either. I have, Zelled him and texted him and sent him pictures and everything, and he has not paid me. So I don't really like that either. He's gonna mess around. I'm gonna get my 1900, and then I'm gonna quit the whole property. I do not play with people that play with my money. Now, of course, I'm not gonna alienate him when he owes me 1900. And I got 600 or so in expenses. I'm not gonna alienate him then. But after I get my money, I'm gonna have a discussion with him about alienating me or not paying me promptly. You want the work done promptly, I want to get paid promptly, especially the customers that I haven't done a lot of big work for. You can't look at someone's property, and whether it be $1 million house or a $50,000 house, can't look at their property and say, okay, they'll pay me. You know, of course, on a $1 million property, you're going to assume they can pay you more than someone on a $100,000 property. But at the end of the day, their expendable income may be the same. You just never know, right? You never know. Just because the customer lives in a big house or their second house or whatever, all that's irrelevant to me. You know, I would have, well, I mean, and I'm biased too. If the house was a $100,000 house and they're talking about spending, you know, $2,000 on mulch, then I'm going to be a little more weary about doing all the work up front than I am if I'm on a $1 million property. I feel confident that the owner is going to pay me, but I like, you know, I like to get my money when I do the job, you know, when I get done, and more so on that job because of the miscalculations. But from his point of view, you got to look at things from a 360 view. You can't just look at things from your point of view. From his point of view, the owner over there, I've only cut the grass over there a couple times for him. He's the new owner. I've been cutting that grass on that property for probably 6 or 7 years. But the owner sold it to this guy, and this guy just kept me on, you know, and that's cool, but he doesn't really know me, right? So my thinking is he's going to ignore my text until he comes on Saturday. He's supposed to be over here on Saturday. What he don't know is that I'm not going to be willing to do anything until I get some money. If he comes over there and says, man, it looks like crap or whatever, okay, I'm not going to be willing to do anything until we get this 1900 settled up. And he may sell me today. You know, I don't know. But I texted him the invoice, and yeah, so, and he has Zelled me money before, so, but you guys are right, man. I should have been at about $2,300 over there, about $400 or $500 more dollars. But that's what happens when you don't do things regular. Usually I can overcome that. Like if I underbid a lawn, right, or a bush trim, if I underbid it, we can usually overcome that by, you know, having, you know, 2 sets of hedge trimmers going, or 3 mowers going, or, you know, little shortcuts and stuff that I've learned over the years because I do the same mowing or the same thing every day. See, I don't know a lot of tricks to doing mulch. You know, I learn them each time I get on a stupid mulch job. I know that if I were doing mulch big time, where I was doing like Randall and them do, I would have me a mini skid steer out there or something, just to save my time. Because I don't have time with all the yards that I got. I don't have time to do mulch. I couldn't imagine spending 3 or 4 days and that's all we did was just mulch jobs. There ain't no way I wouldn't have time, you know, because of all the mowing I got. And that's, you know, on purpose, really. So, yeah. So I'm gonna go here to the dealer. And that skag mower, where it was dripping the oil, I stuck my special made wrench in there and just tighten that thing ever so. This is a little bit tighter, and it looks like it has stopped dripping. So, and it wasn't dripping enough to where I was really concerned about it leaking out, you know, but it had just about stopped dripping before I even did that. And it may not have even been that. It may have been where the oil got all over the hydraulic line fabric cover, you know what I'm saying? And it just soaks up in there. And then when it gets hot outside, the oil gets runny, and then it just starts dripping. So yeah, terrible design on the oil thing. I just, you know, that little things like that make me step back from a manufacturer, because I'm not out here, you know, running this business and in this heat and everything for the equipment to be battling with me all the time. You know, there's enough things that can go wrong that are out of my control, that are out of the mower's control, without having to fool with some stupid engineer somewhere designed, you know, this oil port thing or whatever, and thought it was a great idea. You know, if you change your oil like you're supposed to in these commercial mowers, then you're going to be changing oil quite frequently if you're making a lot of money, if you're putting the hours on the machine, and I do. And I change oil in the mowers all the time. Every time I turn around, I'm changing oil in the mower. Let's just hope and pray that they got this mower right, because yeah, because, you know, I hate spending money like this and then it not being right, so yeah. Okay, y'all, so I just picked up the EXMARK mower, the surging mower, $456. So I'm gonna read to y'all what they did, just so you guys know. Of course, we're gonna have to see how it does. So this is what they said. So, you know, the list that I left them, right? I left them a list. So the oxygen sensor and the throttle position sensor. The oxygen sensor was $100 and the throttle sensor was $70. Okay, so let me just read to you what they said. Unit tested, removed, and blew out all the fuel lines. Found no debris or blockage, so that's a good thing. Pressure tested the fuel line for any pinholes, none found. Tested the vent system, functioned properly. Tested the fuel pump, the pump is good. Ran a computer diagnostic, saw no codes, but when switched over to the graph, it showed the O2 sensor stopped working under a load. Installed a new O2 sensor. The O2 sensor works now, but the TPS is bad. Replaced the TPS. Tested everything afterward. The computer, the readings all came back normal. So, and the TPS is the throttle position sensor. So that'll work. You know, let's go get this $400 back, man. You know, let's go get this $450 back. We're gonna see how good it cuts this. This edge looks pretty bad, man. I should have brought a freaking edger over here. Okay, y'all, so y'all can see it's running great right now, but after about 20 minutes it starts to do the same thing again, and I'm like, oh man. So back to the drawing board on that, and we'll talk more about that tomorrow. I'm going to cut this video short today. I got some stuff that done come up. So you guys have a safe weekend, and we got skid steer work tomorrow, y'all. Peace out.